It's me, Sarah from Someday Sarah. Today I'm showing you a fingerless glove. I'm making this set as a gift, so I have to get on it and get the other one done. But to show you this one, there we go. And it's a double crochet with some single crochets. The supplies that we need for this fingerless glove is a 5mm hook, pair of scissors, a stitch marker, and my yarn is a number 4. The specific yarn I got in somebody's D-stash. It is a wool, number 4. There we go. It is a superwash wool, merino and wool. What I can say is that this number 4 does not work up like my other number 4s. So when I was counting the stitches on here, it didn't match up to the other stitches. I would call this a light worsted weight if you're going to compare. So when you do make one for yourself, make sure your number of stitches around the wrist match what will actually fit around the wrist that you want to make. So when I started making it up using my other pattern, the number of stitches didn't work out around the wrist. So I will tell you how many stitches this one is going to use, and it is considered a light worsted weight. So a lighter number 4. Now to begin, we're going to do a slip knot. And we're going to chain 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're going to turn back and we're going to single crochet back loop only 7 times. So we skip this first one, that's our turning chain, and we go into the next one, and we're going to do 7 single crochet back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now to show you what part this is on the fingerless glove, down at the base of our wrist, at the bottom of our wrist, we have this ribbed section. So that is the beginning of that. We're going to continue going back and forth, back loop only, and it's going to make these ridges as we go, which is how we're going to make the ribbed part of this glove. I'm going to do a couple more rows to show you how that works out. So now we're at the end. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to do an extra chain. That's our turning chain. Turn this way and then go back 7. So skip the first one. That was our turning chain. And we'll do 7 back loop only again. 6, and the last one, 7. And then we have to chain 1 and then turn, and then we do back loop only again 7 times. Skip the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oopsie. There we we're going to keep this going, back loop only, and see there's our first bump, until we have the same number of stitches or same number of rows around as we did the first time. So I don't know how many I did the first time because I did this over a week ago in true fashion. I kind of forgot about it and now I have to finish it. So I will go away and count how many stitches I have and then come back. Alright, so I went away and I counted and I have 30 rows. So 30 rows going back and forth of 7 stitches in each row. Back loop only. So we're going to keep on going until we have 30 rows. So at the end of this, your finished tail will be on the opposite side to your start tail. They will be diagonal. So I will come back when I'm at 30, you come back, and I'll show you how to join the two sides. Okay, so I am at 30 stitches, so you can see that I am diagonal. My beginning tail was here, and now I'm diagonal on the other side up here. So now we're going to join the two sides. So we pull them together like this. Now your hook's going to be on the bottom side closest to you. We're going to go into one stitch of each loop. So what we have to do at the last one, I forgot, is to do a chain, just like when we were turning. But this time when we turn, we're going to join the front to the back. So we're going to do the back loop of this one on the hook, and then the back loop of this one on the hook. So you can see here there are 7 bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to slip through all 3 hooks that are on, all 3 loops that are on the hook. So 1, 2, and 3. Now again, we're going to go into the second stitch, back loop of that one, and back loop of that one. We've got 3 loops, and we're going to slip through all 3. And again, third stitch, third stitch, and slip through all 3. In there, fourth stitch, fourth, slip through all 3. And repeat for the last 3 stitches. There we go. 2 more. And last one, I have to find the back loop. That's kind of around the corner in there for the first half. There we go. And then the back loop of that one. And then slip through all 3. All right, now we've got that side joined up. What those slip stitches do is they make a final bump going around so it blends seamlessly. So now we're at the top here. Now we're going to grow the fingerless glove from where we are at the top. So we're going to start with a chain 1. We're going to grab that tail that was there from the beginning, and we're going to tuck it inside the stitches as we go. So around here we're going to do 30 single crochets. So inside each bump we're going to grab 2 loops and work single crochets into it. So I'm going to get the first one from this side and do a single crochet, and the second one always seems to be this little loose hole here, so I don't want to yank it too hard or else I'll end up with a big hole there. So just gently do your second one in there, and then over to the next bump we do 2. Oops, I lost my tail. That's the the tail, we're going to work it into the stitches. It's starting to go dark out, so I'm going to have to end this soon and then pick up again tomorrow. But I'll just do a few more stitches. So that side, a single crochet, and then the other side of that up there. So inside between every 2 bumps, you're going to do 2 stitches. So that means every single row is a stitch. So 30 rows is 30 stitches. And there's another one. I'm going to take that tail and put it out of the way and sort it out later. I've got most of it crocheted inside that round that I don't need to do any more of it. Alright, I'm going to keep going around this. Until I get all the way back to my first single crochet. And my next round is going to be all double crochets. So now the number of rounds that you're going to do will depend on how long you want the cuff to be on your fingerless glove. I took the first one on and off my wrist a few times to see where it felt right. But I will actually count them for you, the ones that I've done, so you know how many I have, and then you can decide if that's right for you. So now I'm almost back at the beginning. So I did the single crochet at the beginning of that dip. I'm going to do the second one there. And then we're going to look to see where our first one was. So you make sure that you'll have all 30 stitches. So that was the second one because it was on that side of the bump. So the first one was right here. So what I'm going to do, this will create a seamless look. So you won't see where you switched over rows each time, but we need to go up to a double crochet. So what I do is I take this off and I go this way, and we're going to grab that previous loop and pull it through, and then it's going to look seamless. So you pull that tight, so the stitches will look like the just 2 that we did, and then the first 2, and that's tight in there. So now, because we're going into a double crochet, we want this to be about the height of a double crochet and a half. So I have a little trick that I do here that helps me with this stitch. This is called a standing double crochet, and it begins the row. So we need the height of a double crochet. My trick is I did get one of my stitch markers that can close. We have to take it off afterwards, so it has to be able to open. But with it closed, I put it over the stitch. I grab a hold of it so it's on there underneath. I pull it up to my hook, and that will hold that part in place. And then I'm going to wrap around. So I'm creating another loop around with that. And then I'm going to go through the stitch and make it like a double crochet around there, and then again through the top. And that is a standing double crochet. Now where that stitch marker sits is where we're going to go through on our next round. So here, I'll do a double crochet right after that, and you can see how it looks very similar instead of doing the chain up. There we go. And there's the 2 stitches side by side. So I'll show you how a chain up would have looked. This is if you prefer to do the chain up, you definitely can do that. So the chain up would be after you pull that through, go 1, 2, or 3 if you choose. I do 2, and then into the next stitch, which is that one there. So that counts as this first stitch, and then the second stitch is the opposite side of that dip. And there, that's what a chain up would look like. And I definitely prefer this standing double crochet because then it looks just like a stitch. So I pull it to about 1.5 times the height. If you're not using it with the stitch marker, I'll show you how to do it otherwise. So you have to hold that yarn in place so you don't lose when you're wrapping it around. That's why my stitch marker helps me here. You hold it in place, you go around so it loops around through that first stitch, and then I lost it. Hold on, try again. Around, through the stitch, pull through, and then pull through. There we go. I just find by throwing on this little stitch marker that I don't have to pay attention to holding that piece in place. It's just a trick I do. So I have it on there, wrap around, go through, and then pull through the last 2. Alright, so there's my standing double crochet. So we're going to continue around to the other side in double crochets. So today is the winter solstice, which means we are finally going to turn around and have some lighter days coming, and that will be wonderful. I use the daylight for my videos because it's easier to see, and I haven't been able to record much in the evenings because it gets so dark in my office. Anyhow, I'm happy about that. We're almost around. And then we're going to repeat that same join. So by pulling that yarn through from the front to the back, you make it look like it's seamless. You can't really see where the join is going up. Sometimes when you do rounds, you can see the line. Because I left my stitch marker on after my previous, what do you call that, hack, crochet hack, something that made it simple. It's also easier to find the loops that I need to join into when I've come back around now, because they still have stitch marker on it. So I'm here on my last stitch. I'm going to go through those 2 loops. See, pull the marker off. Take my previous stitch, pull it through to the back, Put my stitch, uh-oh, that just flew away. Hold on. There we go. Put my stitch marker back on the loop. It's about 1.5 stitches high. Pull that up there, wrap around, go through the stitch, pull through, and then the last one pull through. So we're back again at the beginning of that round. So we're going to continue until we have, I believe it's 8 rounds. And on the 8th round, we do not join, we turn. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So on the 8th round, we go back and we don't join, we go up. So I'll come back when I'm right here. All right, so I've got to the end of the 8th round. You see I'm right here, and I'm not going to join it because I do like that the stitch marker on the standing double crochet pulls out those 2 loops. I'm going to leave that one so then when I come back around I can see the stitch more easily. Maybe it's my, you know, age and losing my vision, but I do like to keep that one there. You don't have to. So now what we're going to do, instead of joining this time, we're going to do a double crochet, standing double crochet, and turn and go back the other way. So we're going to start here, turn that around, pull up 1.5 stitches in height. I'm going to put my 2nd stitch marker on there, hold it tight to there, wrap around, go through that stitch, pull through, and then pull through. So that wrap around acts like your 2nd loop on a normal double crochet. We're going to count how many rounds that I have open for the thumb. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 openings, so 5 stitches high before we join again. We join at the top of the 5th round there. So now we've reversed directions and we're going to keep going double crochet all the way back to where we left that 1st stitch marker. The stitch markers are not necessary. They're definitely just a small hack that I like to do to make it easier to find the loops and also to do the wraparound without dropping it. back to the opening again, and this is where I like where that stitch comes in handy. So we've got this stitch here, and then that one's right there, easy to grab. Mostly easily to grab. Oh, there we go. Now we pull that off. We're going to do another standing double crochet to make our way back. So we've got to turn, put that on there. We're going to turn, pull that up, wrap around through the stitch. There we go. And we've got that first stitch there. And then double crochet, continue all the way around. So we are going to do, oh, that's a little bit looser than I'd like, so I'm going to go back and redo it. I think I pulled it too tall. Yeah, I definitely pulled it too tall. Let's tighten that up a little bit. Wrap around, through the loop, pull through, pull around, pull through. There we go, that's better. All right, so now we're going to continue to double crochet all the way back around, and we're going to do this back to here, up, and then back around again. 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth one we're going to join. So I'll come back when we're at the point of joining it. So here I am coming back around at the top of this is the fifth round. So I've gone back and forth, and I'm coming back in the correct direction, not the reverse direction. And I'm just going to finish off these last 2 stitches. You have to be very careful each time you turn that you're not dropping a stitch. So make sure that you always, like if you're worried that you're dropping a stitch, make sure to count your stitches and make sure that you continue to have 30 stitches throughout. We're not increasing or decreasing anywhere throughout this. So I've taken off that last stitch marker, don't need it anymore, because now we're going to jump over to the other side. So same way as we did down here when we joined the rounds, we're going to put our hook through here, and we're going to pull it through to the back. Pop off that stitch marker, and we are going to do 2 rounds of double crochet the same way we did down below. So I'll just start that off, go up, and that's too high. If we do it too high, we end up with too loose of a stitch. So it's about 1.5 double crochets. Wrap around and go through that first stitch, pull through, whoopsie, I let go. Pull through that first stitch, and pull through, pull through, pull through. And double crochet for the rest of the way around. We're going to join again, and then do, we're going to come around, join, and then do another round. So see here we have, let's see, oh no, we have 3 rounds. I have to make the 2 sides match, so 1, 2, 3 rounds of double crochet up to there. So I'll come back when I'm right there. Okay, so I'm at the end of my 3rd round of double crochet above the thumb hole. I'm going to go through the back, pull the loop through. So we've gone back over to the other side. So it's attached now. We need to do 1, 2, 3 rows of single crochet. So from the double crochet right here, We don't need to wrap around this time. We just go through and do a single crochet. And when we come back around, we're going to join into those loops right there. So we continue around, and I'll do this round, and when I come back I'll show you how to join that, and we'll do 2 more rounds after this of single crochet, and then we're done. I did not put the stitch marker on this time, but you can if you want. It will help you find the loops on the way back, but you don't need to worry about wrapping around anymore. In case you're new to my channel and it's your first video watching me crochet, I am aware that I do not crochet the same way as most people. So however you do your wrap over or wrap under, that's what you do here. I go under, you wrap over, and I somehow learned how to go under, so it's my habit of how I do it. Single crochet however you do it. Okay, last stitch. Now we're at the beginning, and we're going to go into those first 2 loops. So this is why when you put this, leave the stitch marker on, it makes it easier to find them. Pull that out there. We're going to go underneath those 2 loops. There's one, and there's the other. I'm going to pull that through. To the back, and we're going to do a single crochet. So if I put my stitch marker on there, when I come back around, those 2 loops are easier to find. Like I said, not necessary, but can be helpful, especially if you're using like black yarn. I like to use a lot of black yarn, so I will definitely try it next time. There we go. You see it holds those 2 loops ready for when I come back around. We're going to do 2 more rounds, and then I'll come back when I'm tying off at the end. Okay, so I've done my 3 single crochet rounds. You can see we're all done. It matches up. The thumb hole matches up. This one's a bit more stretched out because I've tried it on. We need a darning needle, so we'll get that ready. Go. And we need our scissors. So before we attach to the other side, we're going to cut that yarn off, and we're going to do a closure at the top of the stitches here. So it's going to make it look like the stitches continue to flow around instead of having loop through and pull through. So we're going to take that stitch and pull it right through and out of that loop, put it on the darning needle. We're going to go through that first single crochet in here like that. Take off the stitch marker if you have one there. Okay, so we go through the like that from front to back. We're going to turn and we're going to look inside, and we're going to go through the top of that previous stitch, through the bottom, and we're going to make that like a continuous stitch. And then we can just pull that through behind like the other stitches. We're going to mimic that line right there. So we're going to go into the underside of that stitch. now we can just weave in the ends on the inside. So it's kind of like there's no join there. So we'll weave in the ends and we will be all done. So here we have it. Let's see how it fits. There we go. So I love these for working inside when it's cold, and also you can wear them in the spring and the fall outside, or you can wear them with those mini mitts underneath. So there we go. All done. Hey, it's me, Sarah. I made a gift for a friend. I'm halfway through. I did not write it down. Well, I do have a pattern for the whole fingerless glove, but I did not write down the skull part. Let me show you. There you go. I picture these with a pair of mini mitts underneath. There's a thread loose in there. Anyhow, so cute. Now, here's the dilemma. I have to make the second one, and I don't know if I have enough yarn, so I've come to see what's going to happen here. So that's at 0, new scale. Just put the batteries in, so let's see if it works. 24 grams. So now I need this to be 24 grams. Cross fingers. Oh my god. Ready? 22 grams. Damn. So I am going to undo around, and then in theory it should be just fine, hopefully. Just pop that in there for now. This is what happens when you don't have a plan and you don't know if you have the right yarn, and you only have destashed. This is beautiful, beautiful yarn. It's destashed wool that someone gave it or sold to me in a lot. So here we go. It's on 0. Apparently still 23. Let's see what this one's doing. Throw a stitch marker on there too, which weighs nothing, but 23. Boom. I'm good. Hopefully. This is close. We'll see. I'll come back with a picture if it works out.